Hi guys, Beth here, aka Mediagirl94, welcome back to my channel, and well, if you haven't already checked out the title, another month has come and gone, which means today I'm sharing with you guys my monthly manga haul for the month of May. These are the volumes that I bought. I'm vicariously holding them with one hand, and this hand hurts because I have repetitive strain in my wrist, so yeah. These are the juicy volumes that I bought this month. And by now you should be used to this. I am doing these videos towards the end of the month instead of at the start of the month, or just whenever I can be bothered to turn on my camera and record. But yeah, I love manga, I love anime. I've been a fan since like my high school days, and when I say my high school years, I went to high school in 2005, so you know, do the math yourself. There are a selection, I got some on sale. We have BLs, we have action, we have like rom-coms, we have it all. I am like a bit of a sucker for like a lot of different like subgenres of like manga, and I will try anything. Do not quote me on that. Anyway, before we begin, if you'd like to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking a like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified when I upload on this channel. Enough rambling, let's just dive straight into my May manga haul. Okay, I have split the piles into 4 piles. I had to do the math then. I was looking down and I was like, yep, 4. There is 3, 6, 9, 12. I bought 12 volumes. There are 3 volumes in each pile. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, don't at me. In England we have a thing called GCSE maths. It took me 2 times to pass my GCSE maths, so do the math. It's probably why my budget cries. But yeah, we're going to start with the 3 volumes I got on sale. Ooh, as you can see, you'll see why one of them was on sale here with like the yellowing, and that's the one we're going to start with. We are starting with Pretty Boy Detective Club, volume 1. That's that. Ooh, spin around. Ooh, as you can see, it's yellowed here. It's not yellowed at the bottom, and it's only slightly yellowed at the top. And when I actually saw this on sale, I actually asked why it was on sale. And they were like, oh, it was just the way it was stored. So like it had like a bit of like damage. So they couldn't really sell it for full price. Now, full price, this should have been $17.99. There is a reason I have been put off of buying this. I have seen it like every time I walk into like Waterstones or like a bookshop or like a manga shop. I see this and I go, so many people have recommended it, like friends have recommended it, people online have recommended it. And I'm like, oh, can I really part with like $17.99? I know what you're thinking, Beth, you spent like 20 and then like even like £30 on like that final Tokyo Revengers omnibus, but that's for a series that I know I like. This is a series I'm going off what people have told me. Anyway, yeah, so it was $17.99, but they reduced it to $8.99, so I was like, yeah, because there's nothing wrong with like the cover or like the spine, and like I said, there's like no like yellowing on the top, none on the bottom. It's literally just like that thin strip. And that's the only reason it went on sale. Yeah, none of the pages are damaged in like that yellow bit, so I actually have something pretty similar on like my shelves. I've got like a shelf here, just, you can't see it, it's just off camera. And I had to like change some of the manga because I had something similar happen, where like I try and cover as much of it as I can, so then maybe it's just like the cover of the spine that's exposed to sun or heat. I did have one that started to do this, so I had to move it, so I understand that it's a thing that happens. Anyway, the story. There is a mysterious group known as the Pretty Boy Detective Club. They're pretty boys. They solve crimes. They cause trouble. And, well, there is a mystery afoot. That star, big player in the story. But yeah, like I said, this is one that friends have recommended. Online I've seen, and I'm like, you know what, I saw it in the sale section and went, what's $8.99? It's better than $17.99. That's my justification. If something's on sale, I'm like, oh, if it's a good enough price, I'm gonna buy it. But really, probably at this point, with how many years it's been out, how long's it actually been out? Although I will admit, I am looking at like the coloured pages on the inside and I'm like, oh, pretty boys. It's like my downfall. Where is it? It's saying first published in Japan 2016-2017. Translation, so like 2021. Serialized in Akira Cadentia 2016 to 2019. Do you realize that I think like 2021, so like during COVID, and I just remember it always sticking out on the shelf because of how thick it was compared to some other volumes. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I bought it. On to the next 2 volumes that I got in the sale. I picked up volume 5 and volume 6 of Those Not So Sweet Boys. Again, like the other one, there's nothing wrong with like the spines or like the cover. I know what you're thinking, Beth, it's been a while since we've actually seen you talk about this series or like show them in like a haul, because I kind of stopped buying them after volume 4 because they are $10.99 a piece, and look how thin they are. Look how thin they are. $10.99, and I'm like, I cannot justify spending like $10.99 on like each volume, and so I told myself that I would only pick up this series if it's on sale. And the same day I picked up Pretty Boy Detectives Club, I was just scrolling through, you know, their sale section in Worlds Apart, and I came across 5 and 6, and I went, let me see the price. So it should have been $10.99, but they were reduced down to $5.99. So really 2 volumes for the price of what 1 would have been. So in my mind I was like, that math adds up. And I do love the series. I love the characters, I love the dynamics, I love like the love triangle, like the jealousy, like the romance, the friendship. I love it all. But they cost money. And that's like a problem like a lot of people that read manga have, is that if you like a series, you stick with it. But I kind of like have started buying like a bunch of like random series. So this is the series I do want to, you know, continue, and I highly recommend it if you've got the money. But like $10.99 a volume, I'm like, oh, I like it, I don't love it, but it was on sale, so I bought it. Moving on. Okay, we will go on to the BLs. The Boy Love. I picked up 3 volumes. I picked up Black or White, volume 3. I picked up Twilight Out of Focus, volume 1. And Minato's Laundromat, volume 5. I didn't even know volume 5 had released. I was just walking through Worlds Apart and I saw it on the shelf and I went, you're going in my basket. But yeah, this is just such a cute... It's like a slow burn, but it's kind of not a slow burn, because you've got like the younger guy who's like in love with like the older guy, and it's kind of cute. He's a bit pushy, but then he's like, I'm not so sure, I've come out of a relationship, you're a lot younger than me. So it's like one of those weird, it's not a slow burn, but it's not boom in your face BL. So I would say, like for example, like the one I'm obsessed with right now is Sasaki and Miyano, and that's a slow burn. So this is slow burn, but they kind of turn the dial up slightly. I just love their dynamics and their relationship, in brackets, because they don't really have like a title, they don't really know what they are to each other, is just so cute. And like in this one, they spend time together over the holidays. However, they're both gay. But a sister's like, oh, I'm going to confess my feelings because I think your friend's hot. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, I think he's hot as well. So, family drama, but this is just such a cute series. And, like, as you can see, the other 2 are in clear, like, film, which means they might be a little bit more saucy. And, like, I think, yeah, this is not graphic, it's not in your face, but like I said, it's cute. It's slow burn, but not too slow burn. So Minato's Laundromat, I highly recommend if you want like a well-paced like BL that's not in your face. On to these 2. The ones in a bubble wrap. Now, I do own volumes 1 and 2 of Black or White, and there's a reason it's in this wrap, because it is pretty saucy. And the concept is you've got 2 actors, one plays a good guy, one plays a bad guy, and well, they are together. but the guy who plays the bad guy doesn't want people to know because he feels like if everyone knows that the good guy is with the bad guy, but it will like tarnish the image. There's drama, there is like complications from like outside of like pretty much outside of like those two. There are like incidents with like the studios and like friends, and that it's such a well written series, and you're kind of rooting for like these two to like just get together and stay together. And it's like an interesting look into like the acting world and like people that like act together, and it's like, are people like shipping, are they in a relationship, aren't they, and how they handle pretty much being famous but then also trying to, you know, like balance a friendship. But yeah, you can tell it's good when you go into a shop and it's got the wrap on it. Next we have Twilight Out of Focus Volume 1. This was a random find. I went into Waterstones, I saw it on the shelf in like the 18 mature section, and I went, yeah, sure. I read the blurb, and it looks like it's set in like a college. There are two roommates. There are film enthusiast Mayo and his lone wolf roommate Hisashi make 3 promises to each other. 1, that Mayo will never tell anyone that Hisashi is gay and has a boyfriend. 2, that Hisashi will never approach Mao in that way. And number 3, that they'll respect each other's private time. As you can see, I struggled with those names and I pronounced them like 3 different ways, but haha, as the story evolves, it's going to be a lot difficult for these two to stay apart because that's what a BL is. But yeah, like, it's Kodansha, so it was pretty pricey, so I'm not sure, depending on what I feel about Volume 1. I'll see if I pick up any of the other volumes. I don't know why, but literally just from this, like from the back with like the 2 characters like cuddling and the front, I really want this to be like raunchy and just like from the get-go, but I feel like this might also be like a bit of a slow burn, but you know, we'll find out. But yeah, like I said, plastic wrap. So yeah, if you're in a manga shop and you're new to manga and you see something in like a plastic wrap, that means that it's either like rated like mature and like or violent. It's not just BLs that you will see in like this like wrap. If a series is mature, violent, some like horror series you'll also find in like wrap, because it's easy just to be able to like flip through a manga and just have a look. But they don't want kids to like pick up a book, like scroll through it and go, "Mummy, why are those 2 guys on top of each other?" So yeah, if you see bubble wrap, it usually means it's going to be good. Moving on. The next 3 volumes were just like pickups, and like, well, a brand new pickup. We'll start with Windbreaker Volume 11. They are churning out these volumes, and it's like every now like couple of months there's a new one coming out. And well, yeah, like I said in like my last haul when I showed off Volume 10, I believe currently there are like 18 or 19 volumes in Japan, so you know, they are churning them out with like the English very quickly. I love these white covers with like, I love the character artwork on each of these covers, and I like how like they pick a theme. So this is like blue, and then the writing's just in blue, and so it looks really nice on the bookshelf with like all like the clean white and then like the bright pops of colour. The story is getting so good currently, and like the anime, I want to say the anime is still going, because on Crunchyroll they're doing that thing where they release the sub first, and then like a couple of weeks later they will release like the dub. So I'm kind of watching it dubbed and subbed because it's such a good series. I love the Japanese voice cast, I also love like the English voice cast. But yeah, this character, oh, I'm not going to spoil it, but it is going to get spicy and like foreign. They're going to have to like draw like a line in the sand, and it's like, just how far are they willing to fight to save the school, to save the community from this kind of douchey guy who just wants to watch the world burn. And also I like how like Sakura is there, because like he's come into his own. One of the gripes that I had with like the series and like earlier volumes, and even with like the anime like early on, like end of season 1 going into season 2, I was like, Sakura has no character development. But like, they are throwing us character development like left, right and centre. Like, he is finally like, right, he wants to be the lone wolf, but he's kind of realising that like he's got allies, like the other like people that are in like foreign, like the school, that, you know, he's not alone. And I kind of like that they're like, we're suddenly getting all this character development. Would have liked it a little bit earlier, because there was a bit of me that was like, oh, it's just going to be one of those, I want to fight on my own. But now he's finally realised teamwork makes the dream work. But yeah, Windbreaker is a solid series. If you like Tokyo Revengers, check it out. Moving on to the next volume I bought. It is volume 7 of Taimon's B-side. Yeah, a complete stark opposite to Windbreaker. That's like action, like drama. And then you have like a really cute like shoujo beat, like rom-com, romance, friendship series. I am obsessed with this series. This girl, she's a fan of Taemon. He's in like an idol group, and she ends up being his housekeeper. However, like, he's completely different personality. Like, he's really like open and like friendly on stage, but when she actually meets him, he's a recluse, a shut-in, and he just hates himself. And she discovers that the other members of this idol group Face, they are nothing like their personalities on camera, that there are different personalities like off camera. And it's kind of an interesting look into like the idol like life of like, as fans, you see like an image and you go, oh, they're perfect. But then behind the scenes, they are people, and well, they're not going to always act like you think they're going to act. It's just so cute, and I just love how like now at this point, volume 7, she's interacted with like pretty much all the members within Face, and they're kind of realising that she's just going to be there because like he needs her, otherwise she's going to have like a mental breakdown. So yeah, it is just an adorable like shoujo beat if you want friendship, romance, comedy, drama. Check out Taimon's B-side, I highly recommend it. And well, the last volume of manga in like this little pickup is Horimiya. I can never pronounce it right. This is volume 1. Now, I loved the anime of this. I've watched the anime multiple times. I've just never thought to like pick up the series, because whenever I actually go into like Waterstones, Forbidden Planet, Worlds Apart, where I buy the majority of my manga, this manga will be on the shelf, but it's never like the first like 3 volumes. It's like always like volume 4 onwards. So I had to go online and I got this on Amazon, and it was actually on offer. So I was like, oh, it's very rare you get like an offer on Amazon where it turns out to be cheaper than buying it in a shop. But yeah, I just love this series. It is like a friendship. It's not really like a rom-com, but it kind of is. Like, these are the 2 leads, and it's one of those things where at school they have like one personality, and then outside of school they have a completely different personality. Like, at school, like, she's popular, she's put together, but then like at home, you know, there's a bit of a struggle. She has to like do the cooking, the cleaning. No one really talks to him at school because he's a bit of like a nerd or like a recluse, but turns out he's hot. And it's just like these 2 characters like finding each other, realising their differences, putting the differences aside, and then you have like the different like friendship groups like interacting, because they're like, why are you hanging out with him? And she's like, he is amazing. And I just love the dynamic, the friendship, and the whole supporting cast in general is just great. And it's like solid writing. The story it's not dragged out. I feel like it's concise enough where you go, okay, they don't stay on like one element for so long to the point where you get bored. It's just a fun watch, and I'm hoping, you know, that it's going to be like a fun read. This is Yen Press, and kind of like Kodansha, Yen Press are pretty pricey, so like I said, this will be a series I'll be picking up when I can find it on sale. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out the anime first. If a series has an anime and like you're not sure you want to commit to buying the manga, because manga can be pretty pricey, like for example, like all the volumes of manga in this haul, The cheapest was like $7.99, which was Taymon's B-side. The most expensive, if the Pretty Boy Detective Club wasn't on offer, that would be £18. I think Windbreaker probably is the next expensive at like $10.99, so I would always recommend, if a show's got an anime, check it out first before you commit to buying the series, because you don't want to waste money on a series or like that you don't like. But I love this series and I'm finally getting around to collecting the manga. And the last 3 volumes in this manga haul are Black Butler. We have volume 22, 23, and 24. I really hope I've got that right, because I still don't really fully understand like Roman numerals, and that's like Black Butler's whole thing, is Roman numerals. For example, 22, it kind of ends like the Emerald Witch arc, which is the one that's getting like the animated series that came after like the boarding school arc. So 22, I believe, wraps up that. Yes. And then we have 23 and 24, which starts like the next arc. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, you're only picking up the series because it's currently getting like animated again. I have been a fan of Black Butler since it first came out, since season 1 came out, and trust me, I've watched the films, I've watched the series, and the reason I stopped purchasing the volumes of manga, because at the time, these volumes are $10.99 each, and you've got to think, back in like 2014 when I started collecting manga, so you're looking at like, what, like 11 years ago? That was back when certain volumes of manga were still like $5 to like $6.99, and in my mind I thought I can buy more volumes cheaper of other series than I can of Black Butler. But Black Butler, they've kind of stayed the same, and whereas like other series have got more expensive, Black Butler is like one of like the consistent, it's $10.99 a volume. It hasn't really had an increase, which I'm very surprised about, especially since, you know, when they came back and they were like, oh yeah, it's getting another series with like the boarding school, then we're getting like the Emerald, like the Witch arc. So that's why I stopped collecting it, just because of the price. But then the fact that some of these volumes are already like $10.99 plus, even some of like the BLs that I bought are like £15, I'm like, okay, Black Butler is looking at better value for money, and well, it's just such a well written series. The characters are amazing. The arcs do not last a long time. Usually 2 to 3 volumes is what you'll get for like a set arc before it moves on nicely to the next one. And I just love this world, these characters, and well, I've got a massive thing for Undertaker. Everyone has a thing for Undertaker, you just gotta go online. He is, but also Sebastian is a god, so yeah, so no, I'm not buying this series again because it's suddenly getting animated. I'm buying it because suddenly Black Butler is better value for money than some of the other series that I'm collecting. Like, if this series probably ever increased in price, I probably would stop buying it. But if they're going to stick at $10.99, and I paid what, for the omnibus, well no, technically yeah, that worked out £10 a volume, so technically I can't really say that about the Tokyo Revengers omnibus. But some of the BLs have been £15, so, and they're the same size volumes as like this. So Black Butler actually turns out to be better value for money, and as I've got older, 11 years down the line, I'm realising that I need to be wise with my money. But yeah, Black Butler is amazing, and well yeah, that just wraps up my May manga haul. I hope you guys learned something about me and well, my taste in manga. As you can see, I like a wide variety of subgenres, and that's just how I've always been. I'm always willing to give like a new series a go, so if you have any recommendations, comments is the place to go. But let's just wrap up this video before I continue to ramble. If you'd like to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking a like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified when I upload on this channel. At the end of this video, you can check out my last 2 videos or playlist depending on what mood I'm in when I'm editing this. Until next time, I'm Beth, Mediagirl94, goodbye.